Have you wondered if what you throw affects? It's actually pretty important. For understanding how much or garbage affects Earth, we should talk about climate change. It's a phenomenon that's been happening through all Earth's history, but in recent times it's getting a little bit crazy. What does that mean? For example, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, spring was a spring, that means hot as summer, and what it was autumn and winter was cold. But nowadays we're facing that temperatures are rising, and when it should be cold, now it's hot. And places that depends on their temperature, their climate, now it's getting crazy because they don't have the temperature they used to have. And this affects not only our lives as humans, but also the food change, the environment, and the habitat we are living on. Because this climate change not only affects us, it affects animals, plants, habitats, ecosystems, affects everything. But this not only because of our human activity, like we throw garbage or do specific things like go in the car, or I don't know, there are many activities we do to increase climate change effects. But I want to talk about a very special one case that really affects and we don't take care about it. We're talking about the oil petroleum places that takes on sea. These places are really important for economy, not only for the energy they provide, but also to sustain the way of life we have. More than that, they are really dangerous for every type of life. For example, for human lives, it's really dangerous being there because the oil gets on fire and your life is in danger. And it's the same for sea life that's there, like algae or sharks or fishes. Everything that's on the sea in the time the oil spills out from these big towers, everything that's there, it's contaminated and eventually will die.
Marine and ocean pollution is a serious problem that directly affects wildlife in ocean habitats and indirectly human health. Oil spills, toxic waste, illegal dumping, and the accumulation of plastics are just some of the many sources of pollution. Marine pollution or sea pollution is pollution affecting the seas and oceans from the breaking zone to the open sea. It includes those produced at the coast, ports, fishing platforms, industry, shipping, and maritime areas.
It's also important to talk about polyps. And this species is very important for biodiversity in the seas. These animals are called corals, and these species live in symbiosis with algae. This allows to growth the reefs, and the reefs are known as the woods of the sea. These are very important for biodiversity because they feed on other animals such as shrimps, fishes, and many other sea species that lives in the sea. This helps to keep the sea clean, to everything that lives there lives happily, to reproduce, to feed, to do their activities. But when our pollution makes the climate change gets hotter, this makes that the algae and the polyps die. And this affects the basic components of the food chain. When these animals die, other animals are gonna die too because they don't have food. And by estimating, almost 25% of the marine creatures that exist in the seas, in the ecosystems that's established by the coral reefs, they will die as well.
We need to stop doing waste.
And part of them is also food for us. And when they die, we don't have food. And that's bad for us because no food, we die. Another consequence of this change in the temperatures is that changes the general migration patterns. These environmental changes will restructure our ecosystem, and that means that species will die because of heat, because there's no food, because of the temperature gets crazy, because the meteorological systems going with hurricanes, tornadoes, and many more things that are affecting us will happen because the heat is rising and we're not doing nothing for it. It's clear then that we should take care about corals, about fishes, about every single species that lives in the sea because they help to keep balance in the world. So, after all of this, nature is calling us to help because they are dying. And if they die, we will die as well.